Look, we're on TV. Well, not really. We're like on YouTube, on Instagram and YouTube. Hey guys, my name's Kavan. This is Atlas. He's a little squirmy. He sometimes will sit on my head and he'll do things like this. What are we doing today, bro? He's just like, dude, what are you doing to me? Today, guys, we're doing a complete walkthrough edit of my piece, Social Distancing. In this video, I'm going to show you how to composite a group image when you only have one subject. How you can take that one subject and make it look like there's tons of you and you're crammed in a room, which is the last thing you should be doing right now, just saying. So at first, we open our main subject photo in the camera raw. I'm going to make a few changes here, simple corrections, making the exposure at 45, contrast at 10, highlights 5, shadows 20, whites 9, and blacks 5. Open this up, but remember, you're going to want to write those numbers down or store them, or open all of the people you're going to edit at once, all of your subjects, because you want those settings to be exactly the same for each individual subject. Photoshop has this really awesome new tool. It's the object selection tool, and you just have to highlight over an object and it selects the whole thing. So after that, Command C and cut my subject out. And what we need to do next, see, now he's like his own guy. He can just float around. Look at me go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a new canvas, and on this new canvas, we're going to get our size right. So this size that I'm creating right here is like a great Instagram size. It just looks really good when you post it. It really utilizes the full vertical aspect of Instagram. So I bring my guy in, look at him, there he goes. So now what you're going to do is you're just going to repeat that object selection tool as many times as you need to for all of the subjects that you have. Put them in, organize them, and do that. So I'm not gonna go through all that because then we'll be here forever. But we're gonna jump ahead. So here it is, all my guys cut out, or at least of beginning. So I start placing them in and it starts creating like this look of a filled room. If you notice here, I've got my own custom square set that like the rulers or guides, whatever you want to call it. And I have it to where my guys' eyes are just writing that top line. For this one, I kind of wanted the subject a little higher because then it gives you the idea that they're all kind of like marching down, that the photo is in motion. Let's jump ahead. This is what it looks like with every single subject placed. And now that I have all of my subjects placed, I've got to move on and clean up this red crap all over my hoods. Most of you probably won't have to do this, but here's a little helpful step where you can learn some additional things. And this is called the clone stamp tool. So you need to make a new layer, and you can use this to get rid of, most imperfections or things that just aren't right. So you're gonna see I'm gonna highlight over here, and this red's just now gonna start disappearing. And just use this as much as you need to clean up whatever you need to remove from your photos. Sometimes it can create some blotchiness to it. What I'll end up doing is, myself personally, is after I've run through one bit of clone stamping, I will usually, if I can, merge that clone stamp to the photo and then do it again, because then it'll really polish it out and smooth it out. But anyways, we're gonna jump ahead. Clone stamp tool, it's really useful. Try it out. It's great for also removing blemishes, all that stuff. Make sure your brush size is exactly the size of what you're covering though, because if you go bigger, it's gonna start drawing more and then it could start looking funky. Here it is. The paint is gone from the hood, and now we can begin with the next step, which is shading and polishing. So shading is what we're gonna do, is we're gonna add some shadows here behind our subject, and we're gonna do this on every single one of them. It just creates a little bit of depth and a little bit of pop. All you're doing there is you're taking a black paintbrush, you're doing a new layer, you're painting behind the guy, and then you lower the opacity to whatever looks good and realistic. It's usually pretty subtle, somewhere in like the 15, 20, maybe 30% range. So now that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna go through, so I changed the shadow to 18% opacity, fill 60, and I think I'm gonna stick with normal. Now I'm just gonna go through and do that for all of them. The object selection tool is great, but it still leaves a little bit of unflattering leftovers. We're gonna erase that around the hood, clean that part up around the hood as well. Perfect. So now we're gonna jump ahead. After I finished shading and polishing all my subjects, saved the photo as an image, and then I reopened that photo to continue. And so this, I added an additional correction layer, and then after that I did a unsharp mask, which I'll show you how to do here. So you go to sharpen, unsharp mask, it comes up. I did amount 102, radius 1.5. You wanna be really subtle with this. Next, I wanted my subject's eyes to pop, especially because we're gonna be switching this photo into black and white. So here's what it looks like with the eyes placed in. I'll have the eye available in a Dropbox folder in the video link description on YouTube. You can download the eye asset. It's a PNG. It's a simple drag in your photo. So now that I've got it, I'm gonna take the eraser with a soft brush and just start erasing, around the eyes to create the look that is my iris. It's super simple. It takes just a few seconds to do. So here I do it on the other eye. That's Atlas, by the way, his little meows. And we'll circle around this one. So the reason why I go around the eye like that, it just creates like a little bit of additional detail. I like it. I like having like the slightly outside dark circle. So next, we're gonna create a new layer, take a white paintbrush and paint over the eyes, switch it to overlay and lower the opacity to about 25, fill 70. This creates like a nice little light in case your subject's a little dark, which I was. So just boosted him up a little bit. And again, remember our main focus is we wanna drive attention to these eyes. Everyone else is looking down. We want our attention in the eyes. So next, I'm going to create a new layer, take the paint bucket, make it all black, switch it to overlay, lower the opacity to 13, the fill to 75. I'm gonna take a soft brush and I'm going to erase the subject's face. Again, everything we're doing is to draw those eyes right into the subject's face. That's the first thing we want people to look at. So I do that, leave the painting around. It's almost like a really tight vignette, essentially, is what we just made. Next, this is everything that I did to the image, and now I'm gonna just walk you through it briefly. This is just gonna be a quick layer by layer what we did. First layer was the additional corrections layer, and then the unsharp mask layer, and then we need to get our eyeballs left and right. Ding, ding, there we go. And our brightness around our face and our tight vignette. And then this is where the fun starts. On that selective color layer 1, you'll notice when I click it, how only the face got white there is because, again, when it switches to black and white, it just makes the face so dark, so we need to bring it up. So now that we've got the black and white, these are the settings that you're gonna wanna use when creating this really sharp black and white look. I take the reds all the way down. If you can afford it and it doesn't make your subject just go completely black or completely dark, take the yellows down a lot too. It creates like a dramatic skin effect. And then you're kind of just gonna be playing around with like the colors in your images and what you can change to create that sharp contrast. After that, it's a few more curves layers, another all black layer, this one where I created a streak going down the image, again leading to the eyes, then a brightness contrast, curves, and that final one is just shading. And that's just like additional shadings in the mask, in the coats, and everything like that. When you do the black and white layer, putting these selective color layers below the black and white layer can also change the color and look of your image. It's a great tip to do, so be sure to try that out. That is the image, guys. I look forward to seeing your guys' group composite shots. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's here. And that does it again for this video walkthrough, and I'll see you guys next time.